Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks. We're live.
Live! Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Becca. You look tired.
I am tired. But
done throwing mugs.
Isaac wakes me up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't. I am tired. How are you?
I'm doing well. I feel like the day flew a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been like chilling after work lately, the last couple days. So like it hits 5 and I'm just like chilling, watching something on my phone, and I doze off for 30 minutes, and then I wake up. It's like 6:30 or 7, and I'm like, I better like do something, huh?
Oh, that's good for you.
So but yeah, not too productive in the studio, but I got some new bottles carved, so that was pretty good. Working on that, getting some mugs thrown these days, getting some oil bottles thrown, so restocking some of those pieces. And Rachel's been helping me sand some things, so it's nice to have some help with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Getting some finished pieces out. I usually don't know, I think just because I need to get a bunch of like shot glasses restocked all the time, I'm doing more glaze firings these days. I generally don't do that this time of year. I usually stock it all up and then I wait until like March, April.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then Erica was over yesterday, so she's been coming pretty consistently, a couple days a week. I think she's just hit a month of helping me out. So, yeah, she's kind of getting the hang of she's got a good handle on the glazing. She's been putting underglaze on my bottles and getting some of that, or not underglaze, but the black slip, and prepping clay. So I feel like she's got a good handle on a lot of my different parts of my process, and just learned how to mix some of the glazes. She was, taking my white glaze and dry materials, mixing it up, sieving it, all that good stuff. So getting to a good spot. It's nice to have consistent help. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a little tough to make sure that I'm like planned ahead enough to have her be able to work on something for 4 hours straight.
It's always awkward when somebody comes in and they're like, I'm here to help you work. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, luckily, her schedule is where she's coming after her day job. So she's in there while I'm in there, which is good. I mean, she's outgoing and whatnot. So but she's also can be like heads down and like not have music or whatever on and work. So it's been pretty good. And then I can shift gears and kind of like say, oh, I think this would be good, in the moment. I'm not like during the work day and they get there and then you got to be like, all right, go do this. And then they have questions while I'm on meetings or whatever. And I got a context switch and it just gets confusing. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what's going on over here. How about you? I'm sure you're right at the end of your trip, right?
Yeah, I'm still at Isaac's, and I leave tomorrow evening. So our goal was 1,000, and after 800,
right?
1,000 mugs. After 800, we have collectively decided to stop. So I think that space is an issue here potentially, and handling 800 mugs sucks.
Yeah, what's the timing there? What's his clay that he uses?
B-mix.
Okay.
Laguna B-mix.
So that thing dries out, and it's really finicky if you don't put the handles on at the right time.
Yeah, I think he's got a really good system. Like, he flips them and then puts them under plastic overnight. So they dry out pretty good. The humidity has been really up and down here because it snowed and all those things. But yeah, it's a pretty good system. Uh, and it's a little bit firmer clay than I'm used to. So my hands have been giving out. They started the past couple days. They've started falling asleep while I've been throwing. So I'm more
Is it
than
just
happy to.
one hand?
Yeah, it's just my right hand.
Okay.
So I'm more than happy to stop at 800. And
Yeah, that's a lot of mugs. That's a lot of throwing.
yeah, I have the appropriate items at home to like help with the carpal tunnel. Like I have a massager and stuff, but I am on the road, so I don't have all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
What was your special request you had for Isaac?
huh? Oh, I want him to get a hot tub. So, but I want everybody to get a hot tub. I never thought hot tubs were cool at all until my parents got one too, and like ridiculousness.
Yeah.
But
Rachel wants to get a hot tub at some point down the road.
they're literally the shit. Like,
I'm
and you
like,
can
I
get
think there's a very finite time of year that hot tubs are good to use.
yeah, but you can get those like blow up hot tubs, the Coleman ones. Those are really cool, and they're like $400. That's not a
Hmm.
bad investment, you know. If I didn't have an apartment complex, actually, I tried to convince my property manager to let me put one in under the stairs, but she said no. Um,
Weren't you talking with Rebecca about putting one in her studio? Her
studio.
like.
I also want to put one in the studio, my personal studio. And RJ, I'm so close to him saying yes. He wants a hot tub so bad, and I'm like, let's do it, RJ.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah. Oh, and today we made homemade pasta. That was really fun. So I didn't have my pasta machine, but we did it by hand, and honestly, they were really, really good. The
Yeah.
noodles.
So what's
They're
the
like fat.
difference in that you're using a rolling pin?
Yeah. It was funny. I asked Karina for a rolling pin, and she was like, the only one I have is the one we use for clay. I was like, that works
In
great.
the studio.
Yeah,
Just
so we
wipe it off.
washed it off.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really great. And it did Alfredo and pesto and salad
We had some
and
pesto pasta for dinner too.
nice.
Rachel got these like chickpea pasta or something. It didn't taste that much different.
Was it the Bonanza? Banza? Was it an
Mm,
orange box?
I think so.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, that was really fun, and I really enjoyed doing the handmade pasta not in the machine. Actually, it was fun.
I mean, I'm sure it's way less to clean up and
No, not as much to clean up. But they were like thicker and like they had more texture, and they were like more handmade. You know,
hmm
they didn't feel like a
from
machine made
scratch.
them. Yeah, they were like from scratch,
From scratch, not Carlos
and you
scratch.
can't like cut them. They cut them all, and so they're all different sizes, and
Nice.
it was great.
You just use like a pizza cutter for that?
Oh, that would be a smart idea. Uh,
What were you using? Knife? Or just
we
scissors?
used just a regular knife. The knife worked great.
Scissors would be okay too. I mean, they're a little skinny to.
No, because you fold it like an accordion, and then you cut straight down, and then you unfold it.
Oh,
So
right.
that they're,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, but but yeah, yeah, it was great. It was a great night. Super great.
Love it.
Yeah, I am really excited to go home though. So a
Yeah.
month has been a long time.
Yeah, so because we're going to talk about like 2022 stuff, and I feel like this is kind of the start of your year, honestly. It's already February, but you've been gone basically the whole year.
Month. Yes.
Well, yeah, year up to this point for the whole month.
Uh huh.
Because when were you last home? When did you leave, I
10th.
guess? The 10th of
I left
January.
the 10th. Yeah.
Whole month. Wow.
Yeah. It's yeah. I'm ready.
But yeah, I mean, that's a long time. And it's not like you went one place, so you've been
You know
bouncing
what
around.
I do appreciate though? is that when I was living in my car, the one thing that I always appreciated was my shower at home. I was like, oh, I miss my shower. Like whenever I would leave home,
Hmm.
every single place that I've stayed has had a fucking great shower. I'm like,
So they
the
set
bed,
your bar is a little higher now?
yeah, the beds have been up and down, but the showers have been on point.
Inconsistent.
So
Nice.
that's been nice.
When we were there for the comedy show, we used that shower. That shower head's kind of weird. Like the pressure is weird. It's like
It's really strong. It could kill somebody, I
it's
think.
like really thin. It goes through these like filters or something.
I Yeah, I hate that shower head,
It's got like
honestly. And
clay. I
bought
don't
it.
know if it's like clay balls or something.
Yeah, it's a filtration system. I got it because my hair was getting all messed up. He's talking about my shower head in my apartment. I got it because my hair was like really struggling with the hard water in the apartment complex, and so I got that to filter out the water. But the shower head, the pressure is so hard,
Yeah.
and the water is like weird, so it gets all
It's like
calcified, and then it shoots everywhere.
yeah.
Like
Rachel said that, and I was like, you just gotta like rub your thumb over the little holes so it like removes the calcium or something, so they come,
yeah, and that
it
doesn't
sprays
even
out
work
straight.
out. Like sprays everywhere, and I fucking hate it. Ugh. But I'm like too cheap to buy another shower head, even though that was like $30.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was your shower head. I thought that was the complexes.
No, I put it in. They
Okay.
have really shitty shower heads. You
Okay.
know,
All right.
that's
Yeah.
the first thing I change in an apartment is the shower head.
Okay. I never even thought to change that. I would just be like, all right, this is what I got. We've only ever had one apartment, and it was okay. It was
Change
just
the
kind of.
shower head, and you take out the water cap thingy that makes the water pressure less.
Oh yeah, definitely. The
First thing,
little
yeah,
disc.
thingy, yeah.
Save their water because I'm sure because you might not even be paying for the water utilities. They probably include it or something.
I pay.
Oh, you pay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, it depends on where you stay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are we talking about here? I think we'll go into. You want to do a listener question, or what would you do if?
Let's do a listener question.
All right. This one is about firing, and it came from Sin Taylor, CIN. Please talk about cone 5 versus cone 6, holds and slow cools. The studio I use fires only fire at cone 5. Most of the glaze samples are fired at cone 6 or uses. Blah, 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 blah. The studio I use fires only cone 5. Most of the glaze samples are fired at cone 6.
That makes no sense.
Or use holds at cone 5. Okay, I need to put some commas or something.
So wait, the studio that she goes or they go to uses
Only fires at cone 5 is what it looks like.
but their
Most
test.
of the glaze samples are fired at cone 6 or
What?
use holds at cone 5.
Okay.
Are there good glazes for cone 5? I think
Sure.
there's just a misunderstanding of what the final result of the cones get to in that kiln. I think that's kind of what the differences are here. Because I think different studios fire at different temperatures based on, if you're in a community studio, I think, your glazes can go to cone 6. They look different at cone 6, but like at Baker Hunt, they fire at cone 5 because they don't want to risk the running. Because if you're like, okay, we go to cone 6, so we fired at cone 5 and hold for 5 minutes, but it's not really cone 6, it doesn't get to cone 6.
Right.
So you reduce the running and whatnot. But I mean, my firing, I fired a cone 5 and I hold for 15 minutes. That still gets me to cone 6. So It's really just a difference in how you fire it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's plenty of glazes out there that look good at 5 versus 6.
All of my glazes were cone 5.
Yeah.
All of them.
Do you see differences at cone 6 with yours?
Yeah, the iron glazes did not do well at cone 6. They bubbled at cone 6. A lot of them bubbled at cone 6, and then they ran a lot more. Sometimes the shinier in my glaze line. So like a cone 6 white was like shiny, you know.
Hmm.
But I think Isaac does cone 5 hold 20. Yeah, he's nodding his head. So he does cone 5 hold 20, and I think that produces a really nice white too. So the hold can really like help the
It kind of lets the glazes like shine a little bit. Like they
yeah,
kind of show their personality more when they
yeah,
get a little bit hotter and they kind of soak at the
yeah,
end there.
yeah. And it helps your whole kiln reach its temperature too. Like a 5 minute hold, a 10 minute hold, a 12 minute hold, whatever, can like make the bottom be the same as the top. Um,
Yeah,
if you have an
that's where
uneven,
I've definitely got used to holds for that
yeah.
with my kiln.
But
So
if you're working in a studio and the glaze samples are not fired the same way that they fire their kilns, then they need new samples because then they're never going to show up the way that they
yeah,
say.
or make your own samples of
Yeah, or make your own samples.
colors that you like. Yeah, because sometimes the glaze samples that they put out there were done when they first like mixed the glazes or something, or maybe somebody new started firing the kiln and it's a different schedule, or they fired you know, when we started, we did all these tests at cone 6, and we realized that we wanted to change it to 5 over time because
Hmm.
of running or whatever. Or if people layer glazes, you're gonna risk stuff sticking and running everywhere. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna go to cone 5. Everything looks about the same, and it's a huge effort. I mean, it's a big matrix of test tiles. That's probably like, you know, no shortage of test tiles. So it's a big
Yeah,
undertaking. But you can always just do your own test tiles and put them in there and say like, all right, let's see what these are actually gonna look like. So there's
yeah,
consistency. And I like to do. There's also a big difference in the thickness of the glaze too. So I mean, whether you dip it in the glaze for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, quick dip, like not even 1 second.
yeah. I always dip once and then pull it halfway up. Like dip it, pull it halfway up, and then leave it there for a hot second, and then pull it out, so you can
Okay.
see what thick is and then what thin is.
Right. Yeah, I think once you get to a point where you're comfortable, I mean, if you're a studio and they're mixing the glazes, you don't really have control over the thickness of it, but you kind of just got to eyeball it a little bit of how thick it is, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of memory too, of like remembering how thick you did a certain glaze combo if you're dipping it to see, what the end result was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have certain colors that look better at 5 than 6, like my floating blue. I like it at both, but I would say generally 5 or 5.5 is kind of the sweet spot for that glaze because it's
Yeah.
more blue in that aspect. If it gets to 5.5 or 6, it actually goes a little bit muddied green and it
Mm.
doesn't look as good. And with the seltzer Tomoku, if that's fired cooler to like 5 or 5.5, it's actually got a little bit more of a like yellowy brown.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a translucent brown. So that one's actually better at cone 6, which
Yeah.
I tend to like. So it really depends on how I load my kiln. I can get a shelf that's 5.5 and then the rest of it at 6. I'm actually adjusting my firing schedule now. Um, after ClayCon West. I mean, I've heard it before, the whole like don't fire glaze kilns on fast for the elements and stuff, but I've never done that. I've always done fast. So I'm starting
You
to.
mean heard it from the person that talks to you every week for a podcast that we talk about pottery?
Yeah, I've heard that as well as others, but I mean, I'm mostly doing it for the. I mean, it probably will help with getting a consistency up top to bottom, right?
Why are you in such a rush, Ryan?
I don't know. It's just because I'm used to doing that. I've always done fast, and I don't want to do a custom schedule. But I just did a custom schedule, and I just figured out how to do the programming. So it's like enter program, and I just found out user 2 meant like the second like saved program or whatever. I just thought it was you always had one. I don't know. I just never used that, and you're laughing your ass off.
There's 6 users.
I didn't know that. I've only ever done it once. I only ever
Yeah.
use it for bisque firings.
So you have 6 users in your program settings, and if you, let's say you have a BIS schedule that you never want to change, like you don't want to change the preheat time, you don't want to change anything else, you can do recall schedule. So you hit recall schedule 2, and that's your BIS schedule. And so it'll do that every single time. Now, if you want to change the preheat, you're going to have to do enter schedule, and then you do 2, and then you have to go through the whole goddamn schedule again.
What controller is this on?
Any of them.
I always do. I think I always do enter program.
Enter program just
And
makes
then-
it's the same thing. It just makes you go through the whole program again.
Okay.
If you do recall program, it's just the same program used last time. But I always recommend doing enter program because I think it's important to make
Go
sure
through everything and make sure you know what you're
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
I mean, with the bisque one, I definitely adjust the hold time at 185 based on what I just put in the kiln. Because I don't always need to put a 3-hour hold or,
Right.
like I just did one and I did like an hour and a half or an hour. Because I know everything's really dry. So yeah, I started doing the medium and I'm kind of tweaking it. I think I've got my Olympic kiln to a good spot with my schedule and like what temperature I want to go to. So I think I'm going to cone 5 and holding 15. And that's been good.
Good.
I'm not necessarily doing a slow cool or anything like that. They mentioned a slow cool, but I've only ever did that once maybe. Or I don't think I've ever done that actually. I just did it on that single fire piece. But that was like a slow fire. That wasn't a slow cool.
I've always done cone 5, hold 8. Always. And I don't know why, but I always have, and I probably always will. And but I don't have glazes that run anymore. So I could probably do it without the hold, honestly.
And that's always a medium firing, right? Medium speed.
Mine's slow. I always do it on slow.
Slow, okay.
Because I don't care about the time. If it comes out when it comes out, it comes out.
Okay.
I say the slower the better. I
mean, slow is probably going to give you the most intense. I don't know. Not necessarily. Not everybody wants the look of the glaze if it's on slow, necessarily, if it runs more.
Guys, your cheap ass doesn't do it on slow. The
reason I don't want
I
to spend
do
the
it
time.
The time, Ryan. Do you like changing your elements?
That's why I'm going to medium. I can deal with the loss in time to go to medium. We'll see. I don't know. I'll be singing a different tune here in another year or something, and I'll be on slow. I don't know.
That'll be great. That'll be the day.
I do need to order some more elements just in case, because I feel like some of my elements are falling over a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to risk it, and I want to get ahead of it just in case.
That's what I love about having a brand new kiln, is that you're just like, I can order those in a year. It's fine. It's
well,
great.
You also don't fire it very much since you've got it. How many times have you fired it?
30.
30? Okay.
That's more than you thought it would be.
I thought it was going to be like 5. Wait,
nope,
are those your firings, or is it also the studio that's like the other?
It's mine, Sarah, and Merritt's, but they've only fired it probably 6 times.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they fired it more than that.
You underestimate my ability to fill a kiln, Ryan.
I guess I just thought you haven't made that much work since you've had the kiln.
I pulled into Inseca with over 100 pinch pots.
I know, but that doesn't take a... Your kiln's bigger, though.
No, Inseca, Claycon West, sorry. My kiln's a 7 cubic foot. And I sold a bunch of shitty cups.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And I mean, we've done a lot of firings that weren't full, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we kind of had, the time was needed, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, if you're in a studio, generally you're not going to have control over the firing, so
yeah.
I would just say do your best to get your test tiles so you know to expect from the glazes you're doing.
Yeah.
Do the 2-second hold, the 3-second hold in the like glaze itself to see what the result's going to look like. It gets tough. I feel like students don't always put enough focus on how they're applying the glaze. Would you say that when you had students, did you feel like that was kind of a thing? I guess it depends on how long they've been doing it, but
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess when the students I've seen in the past, when they dip glazes, they may not always like pay attention to how long they're dipping it. And
I always made my glazes so that you dipped it in, pulled it out. Like that was it. There was no waiting 2 seconds, waiting 3 seconds. It was always just in, out. That's it.
okay. And all your glazes were the same base, so they were generally
Most of them, yeah.
pretty much the same consistency.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah.
You mix it up, you want to see a little bit of red on the mixer. That was it.
Okay. All right, thanks for that question. And then we got what would you do if?
Ryan, what would you do if you won $10 million after taxes?
After taxes, which is what, like 6?
No, $10 million after taxes.
Oh, after taxes. Okay. Yeah. I would invest like a third of it or half of it.
Okay.
And then what would I do with the rest?
What would you buy, like, that you've always wanted that would be an expense that, like, you normally wouldn't do?
I think I'd definitely buy some other artists' work. That would be nice.
What about, would you build any studios or anything like that? Or, like...
Yeah, I definitely do like all the home renovations that Rachel would want. And like, all right, Rachel, what do you want to get done out here? And then maybe build a extended studio or something, or build something in the backyard that would be dedicated. That would be nice.
Yes.
And then it's like, I can still work in this studio while y'all are doing all that shit over there. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely get a new vehicle for the business. I don't even know what is the business state at that point. Like what's the do I even I mean I feel like I need motivation to do something, so I would definitely keep going, but
You wouldn't work for your current job.
no, I would not. That would be gone. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Definitely travel. We do not dedicate time to travel. Like we're looking at this year of like when we're going to travel and do certain things. And I'm like, Rachel, we need to figure out with shows and other obligations, like when can we travel that's reasonable, because, can we do like 4 or 5 trips? Like 5 is probably out of the question. 4 might be more reasonable. And how long are they? And, but hey, if I don't have that job, then it's like you can travel whenever, and we can actually not worry about the commitment and time away from other things and like money lost from not working,
Yeah.
For sure. And then I'd probably just bank the rest of it. I don't know. Until I figure out what else to do with it.
Yeah. You're supposed to ask me, Becca, what would you do?
Becca, what would you do? I was just dragging that out, Becca.
What would I do if I had $10 million? I would invest $2 million of it. 3. I would invest $3 million of it, so that I could have at least $100K for the rest of my life, and a year. I would pay off all of my parents' debt, my brother's debt, and Andrew's debt. And I would probably buy Andrew a house, like a small one. And I'd probably buy Val a little vacation home. And I would buy Rebecca all of the studio equipment that she ever needed.
Nice.
And I'd buy a really large rainbow painting. And a
hot tub. Would you buy a property?
Just for the hot tub. I'd buy one lot of land that was big enough for a hot tub.
Big enough for a hot tub.
No, I'd probably buy a lot and like maybe some acreage and stick a small house on it. Not a tiny house, but a small house. And a studio and a hot tub. And no, I want a swim spa like my mom, but like better than the one she has, like a really nice one. And a swimming pool.
A swimming pool.
A swimming pool and a hot tub.
Love it. Okay, I have more ideas.
Yeah.
Rachel would always want like a winter. What do you call it? Snowbird, like winter place.
Yeah.
I don't remember where exactly she'd want something like that, but someplace warm in the winter. Probably not Florida, but probably like Arizona or something like that.
I also wouldn't work at all. Fuck that. I would not work at all. I'd be a lazy ass.
Where would you live?
Wherever I want.
Wherever you want. Probably get an Airstream. Rachel's always wanted an Airstream.
Oh yeah, like a trailer or a big ass RV.
Yeah. She'd want an Airstream and like deck it out. All right, Rachel, have at it. Here's all your
stuff.
Have at it. Whatever you want to do to it. As long as it's functional. I think the whole debt stuff, I think I think paying the parents off and stuff like that. I wonder about the whole sibling stuff. Like obviously that would be nice. I think giving it to the kids for like as they get older, that would definitely be a priority. Yeah. Like having their college stuff. I don't know about like just saying like blanket. All right, well, give me all your stuff. Let me just pay all of that. I don't know.
You could just put it in a fund and not.
To just, yeah, not for the kid, not the kids part. I'm talking about like, hey brother, let me just give you $700,000 or whatever. It's like
that's a lot.
Or however much. Like that's kind of a big ticket. It's like, yeah. I would feel like they're like indebted to me. I don't want that.
Yeah, that would suck.
But I get the whole like paying off their like student debt or something like that. That's fine. Yeah. That is like a burden, but it's like buying their house that they have or something. Like, that seems a little bit.
I definitely think that I would also take like a certain amount of money and like pay it forward towards like struggling artists or like some art community center that like actually does good, or I've always wanted to be rich so that I could buy artist stuff like without like being able to just like go to somebody who knows like super struggling and just be like, here's money, give me this painting,
Yeah, I think I would like the helping them out, giving them equipment or whatever they need instead of just stocking up things that I accumulate of their work. Yeah. Maybe just like, here's a bunch of money to help you do this thing that you want to do, but give me like something, give me one thing in return that's small. I don't need anything big. I'm not going to commission you to make me something, but you
could have a wall of little tiny paintings. 4x4.
Or like a piece that you're really proud of that.
Yeah.
Or give me one of the pieces out of that new kiln or something. I would
Yeah.
love to do. I would love to do like a traveling thing where you like go to different people's studios and whether you like help them out or just visit them. Like if
Well,
like if
sometimes when you go to people's studios, you don't help them out and you just make more work for
yeah, or you just hang out with them
them.
and
That
chat.
too.
Traveling wheel talk.
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about 2022.
2022.
It's already February. Had a little hiccup there.
Are you on the sauce, Ryan?
No, I'm not on the sauce. Water. I'm on the water.
The water sauce? Oh my god, I left my water bottle in Monroe. And
Oh no, the one with all the stickers on it?
I've been struggling without it. Andrew's going to ship it to me.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you know somebody that can ship it.
I also left my hair stick in Monroe with Val. It's a bummer. um
Stick, the pottery one.
yeah. I have a backup, but I actually ended up leaving that hair stick at Val's house last year, not realizing
Oh,
it.
okay,
So
I was gonna say, didn't you find a backup one recently? It was the one at
yeah, that
Val's.
was backed up, and I was so pissed because it was perfect, and I'd had it forever. Like I've had that stick for 8 years, 10 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. 2022 goals. What are we starting with? This is my goal is to finish this whole sheet up with hearts on
Okay. Within this year.
within this hour. Uh,
I don't know. Where do we start? Do you want to talk about podcast goals?
um, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't know we were planning that far out.
Sure.
I jotted some stuff down, just high level. Uh, okay. We'll Talk Podcast. I calculated it out. We should be able to release 178 episodes by the end of the year.
Okay, wait, I should be writing this down.
That's just based on how many we've released up till January 1st, and then one every week. 178.
Okay, wait, 100 and what?
78.
Episodes. Okay.
I set a goal since we did 10 makers last year. I set a goal for interviewing 10. It's already February. And I feel like we're going to start talking about who we're going to talk to. But
I have a few people in mind to this year already.
yeah. There's definitely some in the back burner that I wish we would have talked to before. Like I wanted to do the money one. We haven't talked to the financial person, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like we keep talking about it once a year or every 6 months, and has yet to come to fruition. So, not promising that one, but talk to 10 other people
Yeah.
this year. I feel like that's a good goal. Take a couple months off.
What
I
else?
have start selling something else to help fund Wheel Talk. So,
Okay. Selling merchandise.
Yeah, I technically didn't include Patreon in there, but yeah, I know we're kind of talking on the side about maybe some mugs coming in the works.
Not maybe, definitely.
Definitely mugs coming in the works.
Yeah.
Maybe not from us though.
Nope, not from us. For
We're
sure,
not
not from
making
us.
them. And we'll share some of that here shortly in the coming weeks.
And I know I've been saying this forever, but I really want to do t-shirts this year. We were going to do it through Andrew and that kind of fell through, so I want to do it through like a third party.
I still think throwing towels would be cool. As long as it's not gritty. Like, what do you think about that?
I love it.
I just picture you using it like when you're throwing at your wheel that didn't have a splash pan. It's just like throwing water all over your crotch while you're trying to throw, and it's like, oh, I got a Wheel Talk throwing towel.
Yeah.
That's what your drapering's for. Oh. All right. What else? Yeah, custom mugs,
What's up,
swag, stuff like
Paige?
that.
Do you have any goals for the Patreon?
I didn't write any Patreon specific ones. I mean, I feel like we could get just general with it and just say increase offerings, but
We
I don't know if that's specific enough. I think we need to commit to something.
I think we want to do some tutorials. Even if we don't do the tutorials, it might be cool to have some of the listeners submit tutorials that we can put on the Patreon specifically for Wheel Talk, and then we can subsidize them. Is that the right word? Subsidize?
Pay them?
Pay them.
Do we want to commit to a number of patrons?
How many do we have?
Do you want to guess how many we have?
26.
21.
Sure, let's do 40.
Patreon. 40 patrons. Okay, and then more tutorials. I like that. That's good.
I just came up with a tutorial idea where other people did tutorials. I like how we're passing all this work off to somebody else.
Hey, I mean, it's a community too. I think it's.
I agree. I really like that.
I mean, I don't think it's realistic to say that we're taking on more and more, and we're just gonna find time to get all of this stuff in the works. I mean, we're figuring out what our limits are.
Yeah.
Like making wise, and just time wise. So.
Yeah.
All right. I did have some number ones based on where we were last year in regards to listeners and downloads.
Okay.
We started 2022 with a little over 1,000. So I set it to 1,700.
1,700 listeners?
Listeners / downloads, which is unique downloads within the first 90 days of release.
Okay.
So 1,700 is what I put there. And then the IG followers for the Wheel Talk is, I put 3,500. We're right at about 2,200 right now.
Yes.
We did not reach what we thought last year, so. And I think we're going to put a little more effort in there and get some help with that to get some more content in there and get some communication and engagement in there on the regular basis, because we don't even have enough time to just document, hey, we got a new episode out. Here's what it's about.
No, we don't make the time.
We don't make the time. We don't prioritize it.
You know, when I was in band, when I was in elementary school, we'd always have to say how many hours we practiced, and I learned really quick.
You don't say don't have the time?
Why didn't you practice 5 hours? I didn't have time. And then I'd be like, I didn't make the time. And she'd be like, that's right.
Okay. I usually just put it up to priorities. It's not a high enough priority, so I didn't prioritize it. That's what I tend to say. But
yes. Okay, cool. IG 40 patrons. Cool.
Oh, I know what I want to do for the two. We need to actually use some of those funds to go out to dinner. We have not done that. We said we were going to do that. I think we need to put that on here.
We're doing it. Dinner.
I'm just going to put nice dinner.
We should go to Kansas City for dinner.
Okay. We could drive there.
Yeah. And Bear's friend has this amazing restaurant. Oh, it's so good. Can't remember what it's called. Some
You told
bird.
me what it was before.
The bird. Um. Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're gonna have dinner. Anything else?
Not for. I mean, the only other thing for us combined would be pot swap stuff. I mean, I just have host pot swap 2022 on here.
Gross.
It's gonna be the 5th year.
Oh, jeez. I did not just say gross, by the way. That was not an instant reaction.
She just saw something that was gross.
Yeah, that's what I
something.
did. I just saw something. Um,
You're still off the. You're still on the high of it. That you're like,
do
oh.
you know why I don't like pot swap? Because I always feel like you do all the work and I always feel so bad. And I try to do the work and I'm just not good. I don't know. I'm not as technologically aware as you are. So, like, you're always on your email. So you always answer all the emails and you are always like checking things. And I never check anything. I just swipe my emails to get them away. Like, I just make sure that, like,
And
I don't
I'm
even
and
look.
I mark them on red because we haven't replied to them.
Right. And so I'm like not that person. And I always feel so horrible at the end of pot swap because I'm like, Ryan did way too much work.
How do you feel
So,
less horrible if we get more people to take on some of the tasks that I do? Will that make you feel less horrible?
yeah.
Or you don't make the time to do the tasks
Say that
that
again.
I said, or you don't make the time to do the tasks instead of having the time to do the tasks.
Yes.
I mean, I think as it's growing, it's obviously getting more and more. I mean, we take the brunt of a lot of the commentary and a lot of the emails and the positives, the negatives. It's overwhelming because there's just so much.
Yeah.
And people enjoy it so much, and the negatives tend to outweigh the 50 positive things that you hear, you know?
Right. It's like we probably had 50 people that had negative experiences this year, but like 650 probably had positives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always those negative experiences that get you. Anyway, moving on.
That'll be the 5th year, so it's crazy that we've been doing it that long. But should be
That's
good.
crazy. That's crazy.
I feel like we should do something special, but I don't want to kill ourselves to.
No, let's not. Please don't.
Yeah. We had a good group that helps us, so.
Yeah, they're amazing. Okay, what else? Should we move on to personal goals?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. I'll start off in general. I'm going to prioritize working on more important things and saying no more frequently when I can.
Yeah.
That's kind of general, and there's not really an easy way to just say you've done that or you haven't done that, but and just communicating, whether it's with Rachel or otherwise, that hey, this week is going to be nuts. This is what I'm prioritizing this week. This is what I need to get done.
Yeah.
So if you have anything that's essential, let me know. I can make time for it, but otherwise I need to be heads down on this thing, or this thing is coming up and it's going to be my focus, and just ask for help if I need it.
Yeah.
Rachel's becoming more willing to help with studio things.
Yeah.
So I think just being open about the communication with, because that will help with my stress level, I think, when she knows ahead of time what the plans are for the week in my mind with the business or with other commitments, that I don't get frustrated or get aggravated when she asks me to do something in the short term. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, my plate's already full, but you don't know that my plate's full. So, that's kind of on
Is
me.
your plate always full?
It's always full. I need a bigger plate.
No, you need less food.
What would bigger plate mean? More time to focus
More
on the
hours
things I
in the
want to
day.
focus on?
Yeah, more hours in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need less food. We might be doing something about the less food later this year, but we'll see.
Yeah. Later this year.
Possibly.
Okay, I'll do one that's not like that's personal and not related to money. Um I wrote them down actually. Oh, there's nothing not related to money.
What about just personally? Like, do you have things that you want to spend more time doing or prioritize?
I want to spend more time doing nothing. I really enjoyed that this year. um,
You mean this
uh,
past year? Is that what you mean?
yeah, I don't want to spend more time like sitting in my bed on Saturdays. Oh, but I also really want to like find a good schedule, I think. Like really cement the schedule that I'm working with. I work really well on a schedule. And this year has been trying to find that schedule and I think I finally like figured it out and I want to like really hone it in, you know?
You like thrive under a schedule that's rigid.
I do, actually.
Is that to help with your discipline, or is it like you're most productive when you don't have to think about the things that have to get done? You just fall into the rhythm of what you always do.
I think it's because I get really ADD.
Hmm.
I think that's really it. Like, if I don't have a schedule, then I just won't do it. And like I'm the type of person that like every Friday at 10 a.m. I go to my friend Teresa's house and we have lunch and we play with their kids and then I go home and like I like having things the same. So
Yeah,
because if you don't then I won't do them.
yeah.
They'll just escape,
It
you
kind
know.
of gives you an out a little bit if it's not committed.
Yeah, like friend gatherings that are not planned are really hard for me. Um just like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, you'll say
Like,
okay, but are you actually
yeah,
thinking like, I don't really want to do that?
yeah, usually. So, and like, I want to hang out with my friends, but also like, yeah,
On a schedule.
on a schedule.
That's
Yeah,
fine. I mean, I think that's good for the mind, honestly, to get you in the
yeah.
right
Even
frame
if
of
the
mind to.
schedule, yeah, even if we make the schedule a day before, I'm just not good at like, unless I change my mind. If somebody's like, hey, do you want to do this after work tonight? I'm like, uh, okay. And it freaks me out. But if it's like yesterday and they're like, hey, do you want to do this after work tomorrow night? I'm like, I can plan that in. Like,
Yeah.
like it just has to be planned into my day so I can like I found out this year that I have to know what I'm throwing the day before so I don't stress out about it and then I know how long it's going to take me and all that kind of stuff. So
When you're throwing, do you mean in your personal work?
for work,
For work, okay.
regular work.
You need to know what you're throwing or just.
Yeah, like what's the plan? What
Okay.
pieces?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely just mentally, it's good to set yourself up so you can't just be expected to perform under whatever you fall into that
Yeah.
day. Like, even if it's just a short term plan, like a day before or half a day before.
Yeah. So I have this, and then this also helps with that. I got this journal thing. It's not a journal, but it's like a planner that's Nostalgia.
Show it
And
on the camera. Is it a specific look
no,
or something? Nothing fancy?
yeah, it's just yellow. I mean, they have black ones, but it's a grid in the inside. It's a grid on the inside, and it has numbers on that go to 24, so you could plan it out like a calendar. And I like put every single month in the front because I like month-long calendars. So I put every single month in, and
Yeah.
then I'm writing all of my stuff afterwards. Like if I have the month planned out, I use my phone planner all the time, but if I write it out, it's a little bit easier for me to see.
What are
So
you
like
writing in there? Like if there's a concert coming up or if there's a deadline for taxes or something like
I have like in July Andrew has a market in Atlanta, Georgia that I'm going to go down and help him with.
Mhm.
Like your wife's birthday,
Okay. Or
your
like
birthday.
my birthday.
Do I have Ryan's birthday in here? I should. Yeah, because your birthday is the day after Jen's birthday. Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, and like birthdays and this was my see look at how much that's filled in for. That was
Yeah.
January.
And it's not overwhelming. It looks doable.
No, it's not overwhelming, and like I'll be able to put in like what I need to get done, and I can put in like all the stuff that I need to get done for personal ceramics in here, like what deadlines I want to do and stuff. So that should help. So that's kind of like what I'm working on. I really want to like actually. I used to do this kind of stuff all the time, and then I stopped. So I'd like to get back to it.
Yeah. Throw out dates and kind of work backwards from there with your ceramics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a question that I was going to ask you about. So how do you generally plan stuff? Do you do it days, weeks at a time, a month at a time? What's your ideal?
I like months.
A month within this month, these 30 days kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm a month person.
Okay. And then do you get granular when the week is starting? So you kind of say like, here's what I want to get done this week? Or
Yeah, like when I
time
used to
or
do it, I used to be like, okay, this is the orders I'm gonna do, and then I would hash out every day of what I wanted to do, and usually it ran with a throw Monday, bisque Tuesday,
right.
glaze Wednesday, blah blah blah. So, but
Okay.
it's a little bit different now. I have way more time and way less stuff. So
Yeah. There's less balls to juggle. So
yeah, and this year I'm gonna start helping Christy. Wow. Bermeo, Krista. What is wrong with me? Krista Bermeo.
who is that?
She's the glass lady. She does glass jewelry. So I'm going to start doing some stuff for her in exchange for some time at her torch so that I can start making some like cool jewelry and stuff.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Better hope she doesn't listen to this or she's going to, take that deal back.
No, she
Don't even know his
understands.
fucking name.
She's a space cadet too. Sometimes you just get words just completely gone in your head. Like
I mean, that was pretty close. You said Krista, Christy. What is her actual name? Crystal?
Kristen,
No.
Krista. Krista, I said Kristen, Christy, Krista. Her name is Krista. We had Kristen here for dinner with her kids and her husband. So I heard he had that name in there.
All right, I'll give you a little grace there.
Anyway, moving on. So I'm going to do that and yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of a weak planner. I've obviously got my calendar, my Google, or not my Google, but iPhone calendar is my go-to because it's on all of my devices, and have the big dates on there like shows and concerts or whatever. And then I definitely like to on Sunday, Monday plan out the week. I kind of got away from that for a few weeks.
Now that's a good system. I wish I could do that. I should do that.
I definitely need to do that. So I do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and there's a lot of things that just drag and I just don't prioritize working on, whether it's just, getting back to this one, I think I talked about last week, getting back to this one consignment shop and like actually getting the things together to deliver to them, to like send them all the information.
Yeah.
I like prioritize some shitty tasks that I don't want to do that have been looming forever. And I'll throw that, if I get that one task done with all my other stuff of the week, like I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Or get back to this customer about something. So I'll do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then put the podcast on there for whatever day. And, Erica's going to be in the studio these days. And those are easy, like cross the thing off the list when it's done, and it makes me feel accomplished. And then plan out. I might even get granular with like throw, load a kiln, glaze, fire,
Yeah.
loading kilns and stuff like that. I don't get super granular with like what specific forms I'm throwing, but might be like handle mugs or something like that. But yeah,
I
that's kind
do.
of how I plan it.
Get really specific.
I just certain days I have moods to make certain things, and then other days I just don't. So
Yeah.
I like to leave it a little open.
Yeah.
But okay.
What about pieces? What are we thinking for pieces
I
this
got
year?
a big goal for, and I never actually put this on there for previous years, but I'm actually gonna list it. I think we talked about this last time, but I'm gonna put 5,500, throwing 5,500 pieces for the year. And last year I hit a little over 4,500.
Nice.
So I think that's reasonable. It's not too far of a stretch.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad. But yeah, I just kind of look at the average per month and just see how I'm trending. I'm not necessarily going to like kill myself to hit that, but that's like a lower goal on my list. That's just kind of like a stretch goal to hit for the year, but it's
Yeah.
That goal is going to influence obviously the sales goals, because if I don't make a number of pieces, then I can't have the ability to like make a certain amount of profit or sales if I don't make more pieces. Similar number, but also I like to make high quantity, so I think
Yeah.
throwing more pieces is going to be beneficial for me. So, do you set a sales goal, throwing goal? You probably don't set work
No,
throwing goals, but
but I set a monthly goal, so I'm adding those up right now actually. Um so I what the oh, okay. I was like, that's not an even number. Oh, this is fun. That's a fun number. Um so I um I have a goal monthly to do 10 big fancy cups, 15 small fancy cups, 70 shitty cups, and 100 pinch pots. And then I want to do garden stakes. So,
are you gonna do that throughout the whole year, the garden stakes, or just for like first half? Or
I think just probably farmers market season.
nice. Those are nice
Yeah.
bread and butter items that cheap
Yeah.
sell
And
quantity wise.
yeah, so I'm thinking that, yeah, I did the math on these. Um, 2 plus 15 times 50 plus, yep, 10 times 100. So that comes out to $3,800, which I think is a lot more than my goal. My goal is to make $3,000 a month in pots to save $2,500 every month. So $500 goes to expenses. That includes my rent at the studio and my clay. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's 2,340 pots, which I feel is very attainable.
2,000 of your personal pots for the year.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's not including garden stakes because that number will be fucking insane.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't include shot glasses, my number would be like 3,000 pots. 2,000 pots.
Yeah, the garden stakes, when I do garden stake production, it's fucking crazy. Like, I'm gonna have to create a display just for garden stakes. So.
Is it weird doing your garden stakes on the vertical slab roller, or are you going to use a different slab roller? No?
No, that's what I've always used.
Okay. It just seems like with them being so small, but I guess you just roll out the slab and then you put it on a flat table and then you cut them, so it's not like you're... Okay.
Yeah. And what's great about it is that you can just cut the slab and you can do the width of the clay is your garden stake.
The length of the garden stake.
Yeah.
And then just see how many you could fit out of that.
Yeah.
How do you cut them? Do you have like a stick or something that you just the right width or something, or do you have something standardize it?
I just cut them by hand.
You just kind of randomly do it. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's straight and you got a straight edge or something to. Okay. Yeah. Are you gonna figure out how you're gonna do the names and stuff on them?
Yeah.
You were talking about a system that was efficient.
Stacy Morgan tested a bunch for me that I sent to her that were just baked on. So it was, I sent her underglaze ones, but I had her do it in Sharpie and Sharpie or the India ink type stuff and stamp it on and then bake it in your oven. And I think that that's the way to do it. So that's going to be my goal for this year is to do all the garden stakes completely blank and then stamp them at the end and just throw them in the kiln at 350 for an hour and bake them on. Mm-hmm. And then have blank ones at the shows. And if people want specific ones, you can just stamp them and then send them home with instructions on how to bake them.
So you just use like one of those Minnesota pads, or you have like a specific ink?
No, just an ink stamp pad from like Hobby Lobby.
Just a regular ink, okay.
Yeah, one of the archival ink ones, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Because it really does stay for like a really, really long time. Like she put it in Alabama sun, towards the sun, and they never wore down.
Yeah, because you were saying you don't actually glaze them. You're not like dipping clear over it or anything like that.
They're just clay.
Yeah, and that cuts down the cost and the time you're spent.
And you can fire like 100 of them at a time, stacked right next to each other.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Because it wouldn't. Do they technically stick to each other if they? No.
Nope.
Yeah.
If they get too hot, they will. And you should never stack them in a pile, like a mound in a small kiln. You should never do that. That's not something that you should do.
You share that on the I don't remember if that was shared in our group discussion or if that was in your discussion. I think that was in the group discussion, actually.
You should never do that. Me and Andrew made the mistake, and we opened up the kiln and we were like, holy shit.
It's like one mass.
It was one mass of clay, and Rebecca was like, it'll be fine. It was not fine. It was not fine.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
So that's that goal.
Are you looking forward to making the higher production stuff? Do you feel like you got into a groove of making a higher number of things the past year? I feel like you didn't really have a period of time where you made like a ton of stuff, or maybe it was just little increments of a couple months at a time.
I definitely feel like I'm still burned out, I'm still really burned out, but I have been able to like get past it. I
would imagine it's hard to throw that many pots during production at Gravesco and then also come back and say, I'm going to throw X number.
Yeah, I have to throw the pots before. So the way my schedule works now is that I actually go to my personal studio before lunch, and then I go to Gravesco and then work there. So that makes it a lot easier.
Okay. I guess you'll see how your body's working throughout the day and see if
I would get off of work. Yeah, I would get off of work and go to the studio and just like lay down on the ground and like look at a bag of clay and just like stare at it and then just go home. Like
right.
Like not get anything done.
Because you gotta like keep it within your realm of, okay, this made me feel accomplished today, but it didn't kill me so that I can't actually do my day job.
Right. And I think that I want to do 3 days a week. So Fridays I don't work, so I want to go to the studio on Friday mornings, and then and do like a longer day on Friday, but maybe do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at my personal studio, and then Tuesday I can work for Krista, and maybe Thursday I can work for Krista. I'd really like to add that in because I'd love to sell earrings. I would just love that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I think
love
that fits your vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you
Yeah.
could make some killer stuff with the ability to use that kind of equipment that you haven't historically had access to.
Right. And that's like all I've always loved jewelry. Like always. Always.
Yeah. I mean, you found a way to do it with Simply Saito stuff a little bit, but it never really
Yeah.
felt as refined as kind of you wanted it.
Yeah, no, it never was. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Do you have any like oh well I'll just go through the rest of my because your money goals are gonna be different than mine.
Yeah,
So
mine are
I
a lot
wanna
of
make
manual.
mine are like shorter than yours. I'll just go through the rest of my goals and then we can talk about yours. I want to make 4K a month after taxes at Graves Co. So I'd like to pull 48K. Well, it won't be 48K because January's out, but I'd like to
Yeah.
pull 40K from Graves Co. post tax.
Post tax.
Post tax. So that would be nice. And we are I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not. But anyway, some of the lower priced products that we have are not going to be in our system anymore. So hopefully larger pots means more money. So that'll be good. And
I would imagine the heavy quantity, smaller pots means it's taking a lot of time away from people. That there's probably more profit potential. Is that kind of some of the reasoning behind it, or just the grind of making so many small things?
no, I won't say the reason behind it, but
Okay.
let's just say that some of the smaller pots, or some of the pots that have less of a payout for the production potters are leaving, which is great.
Okay.
So we can focus on the Graves Co. brand that gives the potters more money and gives Rebecca more money profit wise. So that'll be
Gotcha.
great.
Work smarter.
Work smarter, not harder. I want to create an actual business with Indiana. Like, so I guess they don't have business licenses, but you get a tax code. So I want to get a tax code, like
Love
a
it.
place permit.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a
I want,
vendor's license kind of deal.
yeah, I want to do the farmers market in the summer.
Nice. Is that just the Indianapolis one, or is it a specific neighborhood, or?
I think there's one in this like building near my apartment, I guess. I just think it'd be a lot of fun just to do the farmers market. They don't have a potter, I don't think, so it'd be fun to just
Cool.
take the garden stakes, take some cups. Um, get back in that business. And I want to do 3 shows.
3 shows on the books. 3 shows in the farmers
Three
market.
shows on the books and the farmers markets. And a really lofty goal, like a super lofty, like I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'd love it if it did, is I'd really love to buy a van this year, but I don't think the money's going to work out.
A van, just in general, or to have an extra vehicle, or that is your vehicle.
That is my vehicle.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd sell the Subi, but I do want a van so that I do still want to like build out a van, and I still want to like, that's still something that I have always and will always want to do. And before it was even cool, I wanted to do it. So like
Yeah.
literally when I was a kid, I wanted to be a truck driver so I could live in the back of the semi. I have always wanted to do it. So, yeah, I still really want to do that. So
You
I'd
want that
love to.
mobility so you can just sleep in the back and you have, ample room and trick it out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, and like be able to put pots in there and like sell to people, whatever. But but mostly just for traveling and just for camping and like just to be able to go whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So but it has to be a reliable van. The last van was not reliable.
Yeah.
So
What was his name?
his name was Rusty.
Rusty. And why was that?
Because he was very rusty. Oh
You
no,
still
his
have.
name was Russell. It was Russell because he
Oh,
was
it's more
rusty.
classy. Russell. Okay.
Yeah, Russell. But yeah.
Russell.
Okay.
Russell.
Russell. So those are my main goals.
Okay. I was thinking about whether I wanted to prioritize buying another vehicle this year.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
This is kind of personal, but I want, not really personal, but like on the personal end, I would like to go to an all cash diet. I'd like to go to an all cash budget
Why is that?
because I am not a credit. I should not own a credit card. It's getting out of hand, and like for me, it's out of hand. For somebody who actually makes money, it's not. But like I spent like $3,000 this month on my credit card, and that's a lot of money for me. And like
It's
I
just the delay. You need the immediate like checks
yeah.
and balances.
Yeah, I need the cash, and or even a debit card, so I see that bank account just going down instead of that credit card going up. I need to see it going down.
I think that
So
just removes it just removes the complexity, the I'm trying to say like the obfuscation of the whole like timing of things. I don't know if that's the right word, but the delay of I pay for it now and then the bill's going to come later, and then by that point you're like, oh, you don't feel it until after, and you've already spent the money, and it's like,
right,
ugh.
yeah, exactly. It's like ugh. I texted Jamil and was like, just so you know, this year's going to be tight on a budget, so be prepared. I'm sorry. like, I'm like, yeah. So I did my budget, and I'm switching all of my. I don't have a debit card through my bank. I do, but I can't get cash out because it's from Washington. So I'm switching over to my Fidelity checking account
Mhm.
for debit so that I can pull cash out if I need to.
Or
And
you
they
actually get that at? Do you just go to a random ATM to do that, or are there Fidelity?
no, there's no
Like,
Fidelity ATMs. Like, I
yeah, I
mean, there
didn't
are
think so.
probably at the Fidelity banks that they have like 10 of, but
Seems like they'd be
Fidelity,
partnered with certain banks or something to say like
they're
these
not
are.
partnered with any banks because they reimburse from every bank. So if you go to any ATM, they reimburse the $3
Love it.
or
Okay.
whatever it is.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to Fidelity because then I can just go to any ATM. It doesn't even matter if it's in like a fucking restaurant, you know. I can get
Convenient.
money out. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good just for accounting, you know.
Yeah.
I've generally never been a budget person just because I don't prioritize doing the books like that,
Yeah.
and I can kind of earn my way out of it. Like I don't have to worry about it, but I can definitely see the benefit.
Yeah, I also think that like everybody's always like, "Oh, but what if it's a credit card that earns points?" And I'm like, "That's fucking great, but I don't spend enough money on credit cards for the points to matter.
To
I don't have a
benefit.
family of 5, so my points aren't buying me $800 a month. Like I don't have like I get maybe $30 a month in points. Like or I could just spend less money
But you're generally going to
and not
spend less money if you're using cash anyways. So because
yeah,
every single
exactly.
dollar makes a dent.
Right, like I could have a points credit card and spend $2,500 a month, or I could have a debit card and only spend $1,500 a month. Like, take your pick, you
Yeah,
know?
spend more money and earn points, or spend less money and fuck the points. Like then you
And
have more money to actually spend on the things that you would have used the points for.
exactly. So I think that, and like, I've always just used that as my excuse. Well, what about the points? And I'm just fucking done with it now. I'm done with it. I'm
I
like,
mean, I
fuck the
think that's
points.
kind of the credit card scheme a little bit, you know, like
Oh, it
incentivize you
totally
and you totally spend more when you're using it.
You do. I can't like, oh my God, so much more. So much more.
I mean, I feel a little guilty when I'm going to buy my clay and it's like $500, and I'm like, I could put this on a card and get some points, and then I could just pay
Business,
myself. But I use the debit card, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just
Business
taking it right
credit,
out of it. Accounting wise, it stays within the business. I'm not doing the whole
yeah.
use my personal credit card and then transfer and all that shit. I'm just gonna buy it right with my debit card. It's
So,
coming right out of the.
like Isaac is really, really good with his money, and he was telling me like when they spend on a credit card, they spend it on the credit card the next day they pay it off.
Yeah.
So it's like for somebody like that, it makes so much sense to have a credit card. And I actually do think business credit cards with points make sense if you pay it off every month. But if you know that you're going to be one of those type of businesses that doesn't pay it off every month and then you get
Oh,
10K in the
yeah.
deep,
Definitely don't carry the balance for sure
yeah,
if you can
like
afford to. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. That's how they make their money is if you carry that balance over and you don't pay it.
yeah. And I'm lucky enough that
Like only spend the money you have. You know.
yeah, I'm lucky enough that being an Isaacs is affording me a big check all at once, you know? Like he's paying me $4 a mug. So like, that check is going to supply me the start of this cash budget, and then I'll pay off that credit card at the end of the month with what I make at Gravesco. And
And that's also that's making up for your month that you just spent away, right?
right. Yeah. I would
Okay.
have liked to make a few more mugs so that I could make a little bit more money, but it is what it is. And honestly, I'm okay with it. My hands are okay with it. And tomorrow we're going to have like a fun clay day, and I'm excited. Anyway, okay, let's hear your goals. Money goals.
All right, let's get to it. So let's start with show sales.
Okay.
There's just going to be a bunch of just numbers for different selling avenues, basically. Actually, let's just start with the high number. Okay, total revenue for the year, 100K.
Okay.
I was close to 80 last year. With the move, I probably would have hit 80. So I feel like 60 in 2020, 80 almost in 2021. I feel like 100 is attainable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to have to raise my prices on a few things this year, and I think I can get there. So that's the big number. And as we get down a little further, show sales, I put 50K for that.
Mm-hmm.
I was at 38 last year. We got gallery, which I consider consignment and wholesale together, at 15K. I was at about 10K last year.
Okay.
So and the goal there of hitting that, I think I can reach it. The wholesale orders I think are going to continue with some of those shot glasses and recurring orders. And I think just keeping some of those shops stocked is going to be definitely a big priority. It's kind of tough because right now I'm trying to restock a couple shops. Like there's one I probably haven't delivered to in like 9 months, and luckily
Mm-hmm.
they already have a lot of my stock anyways that is like old stuff. But when they sell stuff, there's common things that they sell. So I think as long as I keep making a few things and deliver them some work on a frequent basis, then that can continue. And I'm sure I'll get, one or two different. Hopefully I get one more wholesale account that I've been, that one I was talking about that I just submitted with. I think
Mm-hmm.
that one might work out this year, and that might add some more in the works, and just keeping some of my regular shops that sell pretty well, keeping them stocked on stuff. It's hard to prioritize. Like right now, it's tough with the things I'm making that I need to prioritize making things that are going to go out the door to a shop that I'm going to get 60% of when they sell.
Yeah.
Versus like I need to restock the stuff that I have, but I don't technically need to restock them until I start selling at shows. But I mean, I still need to like set things aside and like prioritize because it's going to take a big chunk. And then where am I at if I deliver a third of my stock that I make to the shops, So,
Mm-hmm.
so I think just trying to get ahead of it a little bit. And I've also found success with the wholesale orders that I had, the contacts I had from last year, I did start reaching out to them. I've got on a habit of reaching out to the ones that I've delivered to and just saying, hey, I'm just getting ahead for the spring. Is there anything you need? So that I can add it to my list and say, all right, they need it by May. Like I can figure out how to get this in May rather than them reaching out to me in April and saying, can I get this in May? So that helps. I think that it's easier to get return buyers from people that already trust you and know what you can do than I'm going to set out to like get 2 more wholesalers, you know. If
Yeah.
those come, cool, but I would be much more comfortable planning wise to reach out to the people that I've already know what to expect. So that's the gallery consignment stuff, consignment wholesale stuff. And then online, I put 20K online. I was at 22 last year. I don't want to set myself up too high with online because I'm sure it's going to take a lot of time away doing the stock for the shows.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely in a heavy show season like I was last year. I am going to try and figure out which ones I'm going to prioritize. I might do a few less for the year, but I still want to put some stuff online. And I'm going to continue to like keep the shot glasses restocked. I think everything I've sold this year has been pretty much shot glasses, spoon rest, saucers. And they keep going. Like I sold, $2,000 worth of shot glasses in January or something like that. It's crazy.
Ridiculous. Good Lord.
Oh, well, it wasn't all shot glasses, but the Etsy sales from January were about 2,000, I think. And I don't really have other stuff on the shop. Like it's mostly shot glasses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the online stuff. I'm definitely getting a little more choosy with what I'm putting up too, because it just feels like a waste when you put stuff up and it doesn't sell. So, I'm not going to prioritize putting like bowls up, for instance, if I don't have a really good confidence that they're going to sell. So,
Right.
it's going to tailor a little bit of what I decide to make as well, because, I do want to get some more like oil bottles up there. I historically have not had like carved oil bottles. I know they can sell. Maybe do. Oh, I need to add that actually. I wanted to do I'll add this on the end here, but yeah, just making sure I know what can sell, what has a good chance of selling, getting them up there like mugs. I need to be more diligent about setting aside 10 or 15 mugs and just putting them up. It doesn't have to be a big shindig release. It could just be like, this week I'm going to put up 15 mugs. Like I'm going to put some stuff up tomorrow, I think. Some mug oil bottles and just see how they go. But yeah, so that's kind of my sales goals for the year. And the only other, the one thing I did want to say that I was planning for this year was I wanted to prioritize actually getting a pre-order for something. I've never done that before, and I've been reluctant because I don't want to stress myself out of doing a pre-order and then having to like make to stuff that people's already paid for. And I feel like it's more pressure. But I think I can do it in a safe way that I limit how many I'm committing to, and maybe I'm just doing a glaze to order kind of deal. And I think I'm just going to start with like carved bottles or something like that and say I have 20, pay for them and I'll glaze them and I'll deliver them within a couple weeks kind of deal. So I've definitely been reluctant to do that. Like, have you ever thought about doing that? Or like, I mean, you've done that with a flash sale, I guess. So technically,
Yeah.
Like, is it stressful? Is it as stressful as I'm thinking it's going to be?
It's a little stressful.
Because just with all the other stuff that I have going on, I don't typically make to a specific order. Like, even if I'm doing a wholesale order to fulfill for somebody, I don't dedicate all my time to fulfilling that one order. I can't afford to do that because there's other things going on that I need to do. So, if there's a show coming up, or if I got to glaze like spoon rest to restock those, or shot glasses or whatever, like I'm never dedicating all of my time in a week to fulfilling a specific thing.
Yeah, I mean, it can be very stressful. What I do like about it is that you're throwing, like, in a flash sale situation, you're throwing the exact same thing. You're just glazing it a different color.
Right.
and there's not a lot of mess up, in that. So
Yeah.
that's what's nice about that. But yeah, I think that if I did them not as locally as I did, it'd be way more stressful. Like if I'd ship everything, it'd be a lot more stressful.
Hmm. I think definitely starting at, I don't know, I feel like 20 even seems low, but I mean, I think that's doable. Like saying
Yeah.
20, and that's a good chunk of change. Like if I did 20 oil bottles that are carved, those are like $55 a piece or something like that,
Yeah.
or 48, 50. I think I did 55 or 50 something. I don't know.
Mm.
I think I used to have the black and white ones a different price than the colored ones because the black and white ones were more consistent because they're slip. They didn't have as many issues, so I
Yeah.
priced the underglaze ones higher at 55 and I priced the black and white ones at 48. But the end
Mhm.
user can't really tell the difference. So I
Right.
wonder if if that legitimizes me to just do them at 55.
Yeah.
So I might do that.
Seems like a yes to me.
Yeah. And then figuring out the logistics of like how do I do it, because I historically do all the sales on Etsy, but I don't really want to do like a made to order on Etsy because that just seems like there's risk for issues versus doing it on my website through like or doing it on Square and just doing like a
You can do it
single
on
item
Etsy and then
checkout.
just remove. You could just do it on Etsy and then just remove the listing after.
I just don't want to risk the fulfillment part because I do get dinged by Etsy if I don't fulfill things within a certain period of time, because then the orders are just sitting out there if I
Oh.
don't fulfill them, and it
Oh.
it can ding me. So I think there's wasn't there like a Square checkout thing where you can do a single item checkout, and I'll just do like a flat shipping rate or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets a little bit cumbersome when I got to go in and actually prep the shipping items, but because I'll have to manually type in addresses maybe.
Yeah. I hate that. I hate that. There's nothing I hate more than manually typing in addresses. No, there is, but
But yeah, that's something I definitely want to prioritize doing. I just have always wanted to do it, and I never have thrown it in the mix with other things. So
yeah.
I think I'm going to try to do that before we hit the spring, just to see if I could turn them around in 2 to 3 weeks when they're already bisque fired. Because I've seen other people do that. They sell it. They have glaze issues for once and forever. Like they do this glaze all the time. It comes out. It doesn't turn out like they expect. Then they got to remake everything, and you're shit up a creek. And then you set up your timeline is delayed for the customer as well as yourself when you thought
Yeah.
you'd be done with this thing in 3 weeks, and now it's like 6 weeks.
No, totally. We've all been there. It sucks.
Yeah. And then the last thing was to host 2 home or open studios shows. So I'm still going to do the Backyard Craft Show this year. We're figuring out exactly what day. I think we're going to try to move it to June instead of July, late July, because it was just
Hot ass
so
summer.
damn hot. I think we'll try to do early June or mid June.
Yeah. I was telling somebody recently about Carl and how, oh my gosh, my favorite part of that weekend was you packing up in the fucking hot ass heat. It was so hot, and he had the longest pack up, and he was wearing this nice t-shirt, like you had a nice button up t-shirt, and I was like, Ryan, just take off your fucking shirt. It's so hot. And then Carl's like sitting in the background. He's like, "Oh yeah, if I always take my shirt off, even if it's 50 degrees and I'm mowing the lawn. I always take my shirt off." I just
Carlos.
I just love how different your dad is from you. Like, it makes me smile so much.
Would you expect me? But based on my personality, would you expect me to take my shirt off when I'm out there packing my stuff up?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's why I love Carl so much.
Well, it would have been easier if somebody. Well, you already packed up all your shit, so I'm not expecting you to. But if somebody else would have helped me, I think Rachel helped me a little bit, but
Yeah, we were all inside and we're like, wow, sex for Ryan.
y'all were in there like drinking something or like hanging out, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was hot.
It
Last weekend in
was a hot
July.
ass day.
Yeah,
Oof.
I think we're gonna move to June. Long term, might
Can
do
I
a couple
count
of years, but
the
we'll see.
should I count the backyard craft show as one show? I don't
I
think
mean,
I should.
why not? It's a show.
I guess I only made $600 last time, but I also had a table full of shit. So
You also traded and got $200 worth of stuff, or you
I
also spent some money too. So
yeah,
yeah,
I $300 and I traded $200.
yeah. So we'll do the backyard show and then the holiday show. I'll do a open studio holiday show at the new house.
Nice.
So I'm a little nervous how that's gonna go because well, I only did one in the past, so I shouldn't set my expectations. I shouldn't worry about it. It's really just having something, you know.
You should see if we can rent out that parking lot that Kroger's in, like at the back of the parking lot, that the shitty Kroger's in by your house, and then we could do the buddy show.
Why do you want to do it in a Kroger parking lot?
Why not?
Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, we could do it out at the like community center from the house that I used to live at, like that
That
big
would,
open area. That would look better than a Kroger parking lot.
but people see Kroger parking lots.
They're gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on over there?"
Exactly. They're like, what the fuck is going on over there? Let's go look. Why do you think farmers markets work, Ryan?
Because they're consistent.
In Kroger parking lots. Consistently
They're
in
actually.
Kroger parking lots.
I know, but this is a one-time show. You're not gonna do a one-time show and you get the consistency from it.
No, they're like, oh, that's a farmer's market. Let's go look. Oh, shit, it's not a farmer's
There
market.
actually is a farmers market that's right by there, but it's closer to the corner. Like there's that like Kentucky Agricultural Center right there, and there's actually the neighborhood one, the Highland Heights one. I think is technically like in that parking lot right there.
I'm losing
Just
it.
like
I'm
playing games over here. All right,
um
where are we
anything
at?
else?
I'm here. I don't think we have anything else. We're getting past your time here.
Hi, Mittens. I don't think they have water down here, so she just drinks all the top water off the buckets, which is what Lloyd would always do too. She prefers
Oh,
it anyway.
you shared in your story the other day about my sales in Etsy.
Did you make it?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So I just passed 2,000 sales on Etsy. 2011 right now.
Wow, that's exciting. That was like 20. Hi, Mittens. That's really exciting.
Yeah. So I kind of want to throw a number out there of what I'm going to hit for the year, but I don't really want to. That's just another
3,000.
meaningless number.
Mittens just rejected me. Um, yeah. Wow. I feel like those are all good goals.
Yeah.
Good shit right there. Good shit.
Yeah, I think just in general as well, I'm going to try to, the communication thing, but also, reaching out to people and offload things that I can afford to offload that I don't necessarily have to put time into, that I feel like I'm
Yeah.
obligated to because I have the skill to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially like clay lines things or just other things that I take on, that it's like, yeah, I can do that. Of course I could do that. should I be doing it, or is it important to do this? Probably, it could probably fall down the list.
Yeah.
So, okay. I have a couple more things that we'll talk about on a different episode. I think it might be good for different discussion that we can do a whole episode about. So,
Awesome.
Cool. All right, here's to 2022. 2 months in.
Yeah.
A month and a half in. Hey, you're starting your year off when you get back home, so hit the ground running.
That I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Yo, higgity, yo. It's Becca here. Hey, just so you know, thank you for listening. And also, we have. What do we have again? A Patreon. We have a Patreon that you should go, and if you want to donate to, you could donate to it. If you don't, that's cool too. But just Google Wheel Talk Podcast Patreon. Don't do the other one, because there is a Wheel Talk on Patreon, but it's not us. So make sure you get the right one. It's in the show notes. And also, leave us a review because they're fun to read. Okay, bye.